Let's bring in Art Manteris. He's a former sports gaming executive. Let me off the top, as we show everybody what the cheating devices looked like. Did any of this surprise you? I mean, a rigged Deckman, a two-card shuffler, the X-ray poker table. Is that new to you, or have those been around?
Most of this stuff has been around. There was a few surprising elements to yesterday's announcement. Number one, and I must admit that I really did not know that the 5 New York crime families of the 5 boroughs still really existed in any real meaningful way. But the fact that they're involved and resurfaced in rigged poker tournaments or poker games, high stakes poker games, is right up their alley. That fits perfectly.
And what did you think about the NBA connection?
Well, that was disappointing. The Chauncey Billups affiliation with the group was very surprising to me and disappointing. I hope that he was just a player in those games more than an organizer. And the betting scandal, of course, does not surprise me at all. The inside information on LeBron James, that's a scandal waiting to happen. And in fact, I mentioned that in my upcoming book, that he who holds injury information or has it first holds a very valuable asset. And what becomes of that information or the flow of information is something that the leagues and the integrity monitoring services have to keep a real close eye on.
Yesterday, Jim Gray was talking about the integrity of the game being essential, or else you're going to lose the fans. But this is also from the card shuffling machines on a bigger scale. I want to ask you this. They said at the rigged games, the members of the cheating teams used card shuffling machines that were purportedly randomly shuffling the playing cards to ensure fairness. However, the machines were secretly altered to use concealed technology. There's the integrity of the game, and then if you're a gambler, let's say like somebody's going to go out and try to have a weekend, maybe a night out with their pals or with their wife this weekend. Can they be assured that this isn't happening? Or I guess I'm curious because I don't gamble at all. Is it widespread or is it very rare?
Well, that really speaks to the difference between regulated poker games at a licensed retail casino versus at a private residence or a restaurant or some other location where the state gaming control board isn't overseeing those games. When you play in a poker game, regardless of the stakes, and don't be misled by the dollar amounts that were played for. That varies dramatically based on who's in the game. Real well-heeled players do win and lose 6 figures or even 7 figures at a sitting, but in using the type of technologies that casinos use today, with zoom in technology and very cutting edge surveillance technology in a private residence, that leaves the players not involved in the scheme highly vulnerable, of course.
If we were to be able to go back, rewind the clock to when sports gambling was becoming legal and the prop bets were becoming legal, is there something that could have been done in the regulations that would have helped prevent this?
Yeah, prop wagering is very difficult to monitor, and very for the integrity monitoring services. Prop wagering is by far the most difficult thing to ensure compliance and integrity. Game fixing is much more difficult, but individual player props. And by the way, I've never been an advocate of college individual player performance proposition wagering, and I'm still not. But now the fact that NBA players would get involved is something very surprising to me, because of the money that they make and the careers that they're jeopardizing by getting involved in such circumstances is really shocking and disappointing to me. But obviously, the integrity monitoring services have to go much further into monitoring prop wagering as well.
All right, Art Manteris, great guest for us today. Thank you.
Sure was. Good stuff, Art.
Thank you, Dana.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.